Yeah, Jalen, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you, brother. You're such a brilliant guy. There's not much to know about me other than I blueprinted a very, very, very difficult life with a lot of challenges, and that evolutionary tension and those catalysts that I created. Dark nights of the soul, very, very traumatizing upbringing, very, very difficult teenage years, difficult adulthood years, a lot of relationship challenges. All of these catalysts serve to offer me a lot of wisdom. Let me put it that way. And then it is. I will quote the great Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, in that no tree can reach its branches to heaven unless its roots first reach down to hell. And my roots reach down to hell. And so now we are all collectively reaching up to heaven. And so those of us who've experienced a lot of darkness are really tasked with being the examples and the leaders of New Earth, because we've catalyzed and alchemized so much darkness. We now can hold compassion and hold space for others who are going through the same.
I've seen a lot of your contents talking about we're creators, and I really want to dive into that, especially when it goes into relationships and the experiences that we have with relationships, the different types of people we come across, and what we attract. Because I think that a lot of people today have an issue when it comes to, you know, the dream partner. I want true love and all these types of things. But I think we kind of trip ourselves up on a lot of things. So I guess the first question I want to ask you is, what is the first step into realizing your power as a creator if you've been having struggles all your life?
So we are you talking specifically about in the context of relationships, intimate relationships?
Yeah, I mean, it can be for everything, but the main thing is for the relationships that people want.
Well, we are all manifestations of the one infinite creator, but the majority of us are highly unconscious of the fact that we are the creator, and so therefore we are just unconsciously manifesting. And this is in no place is this more true than relationships. And when we are unconscious of who we are, which is the vibration, no name, no image, no form, the wellspring of non-being, which is unconditional love, when we are unconscious of who we are, when we believe we are this ego, mind, identity, this character, this fragmented, traumatized, brainwashed, MK Ultra ego, we are constantly manifesting disaster. And no place is this truer than in relationships, because until we know who we are, we're going to be trying to create relationships and create connections from our traumas, our unconscious traumas, our subconscious pattern egoic mind. And so we're going to be creating from fear, lack, and scarcity. We're going to be wanting a relationship because we feel lonely. We're constantly going to be trying to medicate some feeling or some fear vibration. And whatever energy we are creating with, whatever energy we are funneling into any manifestation, that energy that we're creating with is going to determine the outcome. So if we're creating from fear, lack, and scarcity, and I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy, that's exactly the type of reflection that we're going to create in the so-called outer reality. And so this is what my entire channel is about. It's to wake people out of the sleep state of spiritual amnesia, to understand that they are the creator. They no longer need to create from lack, scarcity, and fear, and I want a relationship so I don't feel lonely. They're no longer trying to medicate or run away from something, which is creating disastrous outcomes and attracting trauma bonds. They are now creating from the vibration of unconditional love. And when you create from the vibration, your true vibration of unconditional love, the only thing that can be reflected in the mirror universe is someone who loves you as unconditionally as you love yourself. Until then, we're going to be creating broken creations, relationships with people who love us conditionally, relationships with people who cheat on us, relationships with people who have a family on the side, relationships with people who are secretly married, relationships with people who want to have relationships with other people. You know what I'm saying? This is the reflections we're going to get. So this is why the whole channel is about awakening people to the fact that they are a manifestation of the one infinite creator, and that one infinite creator does not exist as a body, mind, or any type of identity. It is the vibration of unconditional love, the creator of the entire multiverse. And when you create from that vibration, your true vibration, the only thing you can create is heaven on earth, especially in the context of relationships. You're going to get a reflection that loves you as unconditionally as you love yourself. But first, we have to be that which we desire to experience. We have to embody the vibration of unconditional love before we get that reflection from the universe.
I love that. And I can definitely identify with that myself, because I feel like in the beginning, I was always attracting the same type of person, unavailable, infidelity, all these types of things, treating me poorly. And I'm like, why do I keep attracting this type of, I keep attracting these, obsessive type of women? What's going on? And I had to realize, okay, there's got to be a common denominator here, until I realized it's me.
It's always us. Yeah.
It's always us. Getting onto the frequency of love, that was the thing that changed my life. I guess for what you're saying, what do you think that people can do to start to embody that? Someone that's, endured a lot of different things. I know a lot of people, have dealt with different types of traumas and things like that. And a lot of people find it difficult to say, oh, I'm just going to embody love. How would they start about embodying love?
Well, first you have to see through the illusion of your trauma, right? You just have to ask yourself, who is it that's traumatized, right? And the answer you'll get is me. I'm the one who's traumatized. Then you ask yourself, who am I? And pay close attention to the fact that you get no answer when you ask the question, who am I? When you investigate who it is that's traumatized, who is this I that's traumatized, what you will see is that you've been operating at the behest of a freaking illusion, this illusionary character that's traumatized, and you've been doing shadow work for years, and you've been going to psychotherapy for years. You've been spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, like I did, going to therapy and trying to psychotherapize this illusion that doesn't even exist, right? And now watch how it disappears with one simple question. This is the type of self-mastery that comes when you embody the vibration of a creator. All the illusions are seen through, all the illusions and distortions are annihilated in an instant when you are operating from the truth. And the truth is that what you are, it has no name, no image, no form. It is pure consciousness. It is pure creator awareness. It is fearless, formless awareness, and therefore cannot ever be traumatized, victimized, or subject to entropy in any way, shape, or form.
Wow. That's amazing. And it's hard. I think it's hard for a lot of people to think like we are already good and worthy and perfect as we are, just as our soul is in existence. I think people think that the things that we've gone through kind of I guess dictates who we are, but that's not the case, especially like what you just said. It's an illusion. And now some people, they have these different misconceptions, when it comes to law of attraction and all these different types of things. So what would you say that you've seen that people think is what do you think is the biggest misconception that you see with people when it comes to the law of attraction?
The biggest misconception is that we have to attract anything to us, right? The fact is we are the source of all abundance, okay? It exists within us. We don't have to attract anything because we are it already, right? So now when we understand that everything we desire to exist is here and now in different states of visibility or invisibility, everything, all abundance comes from within us. Every relationship, every dollar you've ever earned, no matter what the illusion is showing you in the outside world, which is just a reflection and an extension of the creator, no matter what it looks like, everything is coming from within you that you're experiencing. Your entire life path is coming from within you. Your entire life flows from within you. And again, when I say you, I don't mean your physical body or your ego mind character. I'm talking about what you really are, which is the entirety of the universe, which has always been God pretending to be a human being. Everything flows from within us, so we don't need to attract anything. What we need to do is be the vibration of that which we desire to experience. So if we desire to experience wealth, if we desire to give ourselves permission to experience the wealth and abundance that we already are, we have to embody that vibration. We We cannot wait for the money to show up or for the bank account to fill up. We have to be the vibration of abundance right now. And a great shortcut for this is just ask yourself, rather than asking yourself, what do I have to do to make money? What do I have to do? You don't have to do anything, and you don't have to make anything, because you already are all that you desire to experience. You need to give yourself permission by asking yourself, what energy would I have to be? What energy, what frequency would I have to embody right now to experience the abundance that I already am? Right? So we're not attracting anything to us. We are sharing the same space as it by embodying the frequency of that which we desire to see reflected in the so-called outer reality. It's literally this simple, Jalen. It's literally this simple. It boggles the mind, and the brainwashed, conditioned mind, the slave mind, wants a process, wants a 10-step process. You know, what 10 steps do I have to do? How many TikToks do I have to make? You know, how many YouTube videos do I have to create? You know, how many hours do I have to work? You don't have to do any of that stuff, dude. You're the freaking creator, and creation is finished.
Man, that's amazing. I really feel like that's going to touch a lot of people. It's touching me for sure. And one of the main things I also wanted to ask is, you know, a lot of people have a negative connotation when you say creator, because a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not God. I'm not this. I'm not that. But we are made in the image of God, and we are literally creators. But what would you say to the people that have a negative connotation with that, and that is kind of the thing that's holding them back from having the life that they want?
I would say open your Bible to Psalm 82:6 and read it over and over and over again until it blasts through your religious brainwashing. Right? I know the Bible from cover to cover. So you're not going to hit me with your religious dogma and win the argument, okay? I'll go straight to your own gospel, right? And educate you on your own Bible, right? This is the irony of the religiously indoctrinated, is they don't even know the Bible. It's like they've never even read the Bible. They just come out and they vomit this religious brainwashing, this indoctrination, and they've never even sought to open the Bible. I can break them through that religious brainwashing by pointing out one single Bible verse. And it's, I love the Psalms. The Psalms are like, they're like magical spells to destroy all brainwashing. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. It goes back to what we were just talking about understanding that we're the source of all abundance, right? And I love the Psalms, and I love the psalmist King David, and I always go back to the Bible, and I always go back to the Psalms anytime I'm noticing that fear is arising in my little fragmented ego, traumatized, brainwashed, MK Ultra enslaved mind. When my own religious brainwashing, and you know, I was raised as a Christian too, so I was very, very heavily religiously indoctrinated, which is why I kept manifesting demons in my outer reality and all kinds of hellish experiences until I realized, oh, that's my religious brainwashing that's actually being reflected and manifested in the outer world. Wow. So yeah, I love the Bible. It's the most important book in the world to me. And I live by the Psalms. And again, all you need to know is go back to Psalm 82. You are God's sons of the Most High. You are God's sons of the Most High. Just read that over and over and over again until it releases your religious brainwashing and stops triggering you when I say that you're the creator, because you've been so indoctrinated to outsource your power or believe that God is something outside of you or above you. No, dude, God is within your consciousness. The kingdom of heaven is within, and you'll find that verse in the Bible also, right? So if you want to break through your religious brainwashing, here's the counterintuitive notion. Read the freaking Bible and read it over and over again until all the religious indoctrination that you learned from these preachers and these pastors who are flying around in their private jets, because they've conned so much of your money out of you, away from you, which is what religion was created for. It's the biggest cash cow on the planet. You know, one of the things I love about Billy Carson's work is that he's exposed what a cash cow religion is, and he's doing such great work in awakening people out of their religious trauma. So that's how I would cure that thing. And I'm so glad you asked that, because that is a huge barrier. A lot of people have to get past, including myself, have to get past our religious brainwashing.
Yes, I totally agree with that, because, you know, I grew up in church. My dad was, he still is a pastor. And so when I was in church, that was my mentality. I thought that everything is outside of us, and we have to get, and we have to do, and we have to do all these things to, you know. And then when I started to, you know, I got out of the church, and then I started to see God for who God is and realize the power that is invested in all of us. You know, life just started to flow. Life just started, things that I would desire, they would just come. I didn't have to do really much of anything but get in that, like you said, get in that frequency. But it was like, I had to tweak my mind a lot, because I'm like, wait, it can't be this easy. It can't be, it can't be this simple, because like I've always been taught, you got to go do this, you got to do this, and you got to suffer, and you got to go through all these things. And then
you gotta suffer is the important part, right? That's the important part. With the trauma-based mind control of the slave society, we've got to suffer a whole lot, right, to get what we already are. It's just unbelievable. The negative polarity. Now, I've had many lifetimes where I was one of the bad guys, okay, and I remember engineering things like religion, and let's think about all kinds of ways that we could trauma-based mind control these people into believing that they need to suffer and they need to live in fear, and they need to be completely ignorant of the fact that they're an embodiment of the freaking creator itself. Let's think of all kinds of ways we can disconnect these people from the divine spark within, so that they'll have to believe that all of life is about freaking suffering, right? So yeah, I know this from both sides. I've played both the good guy in many incarnations and the bad guy in many incarnations. I was very, very integral in the introduction of things like religion, ideologies like religion, when I was on the negative polarity. So I know these things from both sides of the fence, and that's what it means to be an infinite creator. People talk about karma like it's a punishment, like I did some terrible bad thing in a past life and now I have to suffer for it in this life. That's not the way it is at all, right? Again, they're coming from their fragmented, traumatized ego. Everything we experience is a choice. I chose to be a bad guy in a past incarnation, and I'll have to receive the brainwashing and trauma-based mind control that I created in this other incarnation, but I chose to do that. It's not a punishment. I chose to experience that. And we do this so that we can know ourselves in totality as the infinite and eternal and immortal creator beings that we are. Whatever notion we give birth to, we must receive it, not as a punishment, but because we desire to experience both ends of the spectrum. What does a limitless, immortal, infinite creator being want? It wants to experience everything, including being the victim and the victimizer. It wants to experience everything in totality, because you're freaking immortal, baby.
Right. That perspective is just so profound. You realize you are immortal in the fact that you chose everything. Like everything you're going through, everything that you're experiencing and that you have experienced is your doing. And when you really think about that, it really puts the power back to you, because you know, in any other way, you, like you said, you're a victim. Oh, why is this happening to me? Why is this? Why I have to go through this? Why do I have to date this person? And why did, you know? But then when you say it that way, it actually takes all the victimization, the victimhood out of it, and it actually puts the power back in your hands. So that's really a profound thing and a great perspective to look at it. I don't think a lot of people are really going to understand that right away, but I think how often, or I guess how long do you think would it take someone to really get that to click, especially if they had, you know, years and years of dogmatic, you know, systems and you know, different religious backgrounds and all these structures that are in their ego? How long do you think it would take for someone to dismantle that?
Well, the shocking thing about somebody as young as you, and you're freaking brilliant, because this stuff lands on you as young as you are, you know, and as much brainwashing as you've been subjected to, right? It's amazing that it lands on you with such effortlessness, which shows what an evolved soul you are, and you know, how highly evolved you are. Yeah. It typically, people come to this point from, nobody really comes to this point from, hey, you know, love, light, namaste. Typically, it's people who are freaking, have gone through an enormous amount of suffering, okay? And this is not, again, we're not being victimized. People create these catalysts as accelerants for their own evolution of consciousness, because it's pain and misery and suffering that gets the traumatized, brainwashed ego mind to start seeking for answers, for truth.
Wow.
Because if it wasn't for the catalyst that the narcissistic relationship or the financial crisis or the divorce or whatever catalyst that people, or the health challenge, whatever catalyst people have blueprinted into their life plan as a catalyst for awakening, as an accelerant towards awakening, and it's almost always suffering, and we're hoping to change this. We are hoping to change this. We're hoping to bring people through this to this point without having to need to all this suffering. That's typically why people blueprint these experiences of great suffering and these huge crises, is to bring them to this point where they're desperate enough to seek the truth. And when they find the truth, they are freaking liberated, because the truth is immediate and it's tangible.
Wow. Yeah. I really want to go back to what you said about the catalyst, because that was actually one of the questions I had. A lot of people deal with narcissistic relationships at some point in their life. And, you know, some people, it trips them up and they don't recover from it. But others, they actually see that as, oh, that was like kind of like a turning point for me, or that was like the thing that woke me up. I'll use myself as an example. I dated a woman a few years back, and very narcissistic woman. It broke me. It took me down to like my lowest, the lowest I've ever been mentally, spiritually, everything. I was not in a good physical mentality, physical shape or anything at that point. But like, this is where I talk to people about with rock bottoms. I feel like I was at my rock bottom, but that was where I feel like that was my catalyst. That was my turning point. And this is when I feel like my soul started to evolve. I started to focus on, you know, getting into the right frequencies. And that's when I started learning about more of this type of thing. It's been a couple years now. And the things that I went through, I would have never realized like that it was for my betterment. But so when it comes to narcissists, do you feel that they really are a really key note in people's turning point when it comes to their awakening or accelerating with their growth, I guess, spiritually?
So narcissists come from a stream of consciousness that is less evolved than a human, say a human or an alien incarnation. They are of a lower consciousness. They are not here to evolve. They are not here to ascend. They are not here to evolve their consciousness. They're here to get engrossed in all of the materialism and, you know, be what a narcissist is. Completely freaking obsessed with themselves, completely living in separation. And this is this lower level of consciousness, and this lack of desire for any evolution of consciousness is what allows them to inflict such harm on others. Now, you mentioned that the narcissistic relationship was for your own good. Okay. Now, I teach at a completely different level than everyone else, right? Okay. This is why it takes some getting used to, right? Because we've been listening to spiritual teachers who are not teaching from an enlightened perspective, or teaching or not actually going to the highest level. When I teach, I take people all the way to the creator of the game level, not the character, not the player of the character, the creator of the game, right? So not only was the narcissistic relationship for your betterment, I'm telling you, you blueprinted it, you created the narcissist and put them in your freaking life plan. And that's why you are as young as you are and as brilliant as you are, and this is able to land on your head. So whoever that narcissist is that destroyed your ego, go thank them and freaking buy them a bouquet of flowers and tell them they're the greatest thing in the world, right? And their ego will certainly appreciate that.
Oh, I appreciate that. I love that. Now that I look back, I couldn't thank her, you know, back then, but now it's like, oh wow, this was. I don't think I would even be doing this. I wouldn't even be talking to you at this moment. And the funny thing is, I think there was a video that you had posted, and you were like, if you're watching this, you manifested me, you created me. This is like a piece of your reality, you know, reflected back. This what you're looking at right now. And it was like, wow, you know, I would have never, maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whenever it happened, had I come across your channel, I don't think I would have understood fully of the things that you're talking about. Maybe it would have rubbed me the wrong way. But it just goes to show you that every single thing, like you said, you put it there, but it really accelerated my growth. So I think that was, it's just everything comes around full circle. So I just thought that was a cool thing.
I want to bring everyone's attention to the idea of victimhood is an illusion. Does victimization happen? Yes, absolutely. But everything here happens by agreement. Victimhood is an illusion of the unawakened mind. And so if anything appears on the screen of our consciousness, we put it there, including a teacher or a guru or a enlightened master or whatever. We put it there, just like we put the narcissist in our life plan. We put the sage or whoever's going to lead us out of the darkness. The one who brought us into the darkness, we put the one who will bring us out of the darkness. But ultimately, it's just us putting us in the darkness and us leading us out of the darkness. And that's the one thing, that's the one paradigm shift I want to correct, is the majority of spiritual teachers, it's their spiritual ego that's teaching, and they're putting themselves on a pedestal, and they want you to look up to them and believe that they're
Right.
more evolved than you. And it's like, no, dude, I bring everybody into the awareness that they created me. I'm their creation. I am not only their equal, but I am freaking probably speaking to them from within their consciousness, which means I'm not just a reflection of them, but I am them speaking to them, right? So that there's no pedestalizing, there's no separation, because this is actually the source of all our suffering. If we can trace back the source of all suffering, all lack, all scarcity, all misery, it's the illusion of suffering, which is created by the fragmented, traumatized mind, because there is no separation. All is one. It's all one thing. There are no locks and bolts to everything, and you have access to everything. So whatever evolution of consciousness I'm at, it's completely available to you because it is you.
That's amazing. I want to talk about that for just a second, with the gurus and things. I think you had talked about, Aaron Dowdy and some of the other ones. And, I watched them for a while. I used to watch them for a while. And I was like, something just doesn't feel right. I don't know what it is. I can't put my, and you exposed it. I was like, wow. And everything that you were talking about it just resonates with me as truth. Sometimes it just feels like, oh, someone's trying to be up here and they're trying to tell you, oh yeah, this is what you need to do, and I'm this ascended being and this and that, and you got to get up to here. But what you teach is like an entirely different level, So I wanted to applaud you for that.
I mean, I don't have anything personal against Aaron Dowdy, but he's a content creator, and I am a creator, period. Okay, so his job is to create content for the slave matrix, okay, and to keep people enslaved in the brainwashed slave matrix. Because if Aaron Dowdy told you were the creator, you'd stop needing to consume his garbage content, right? You'd stop having to listen to his manifestation techniques or his raise your vibration techniques or any of this other nonsense. It is not in Aaron Dowdy's best interest for you to know you're the creator. So he's never going. Those words are never going to come out of his mouth. I don't mean to pick on Aaron. I'm just using him as an example. I mean, there's a million Aaron Dowdys out there, but I'm just telling you, Aaron Dowdy's agenda is to get you to keep watching YouTube. That's why YouTube pushes him, because he keeps eyeballs on YouTube, which is great. I mean, he's phenomenal at marketing. He's brilliant at marketing, like a lot of these content creators are. That's their job, and that exists as an option. You can continue to consume. You can continue to consume other people's content, or you could become a freaking creator and start creating your life the way you deem fit.
When it comes to being in that creator mindset, being the creator, just being, I know a lot of times people are in lower vibrations, and a lot of times people are just doing things to stay in the lower vibration. What would you say are some ways that people can heighten their vibration and stay in that vibration?
The two fastest ways to return to your natural vibration: we don't need to raise our vibration. We need to stop lowering it. That's what we need. That's what we need to do. We need to stop lowering it by identifying with the body-mind complex, which we are not, and understanding we're the creator awareness of the body-mind complex. When we understand that we're the awareness of everything that's going on, and that we're not actually the body-mind, we're the awareness of the body-mind, we become the oil that's resting on top of the water. That oil is the highest frequency that exists here, and it's your natural state. So we don't need to raise our vibration the way, these content creators are showing us how to raise it. We need to stop lowering it by watching garbage content like that, number one. And number two, stop identifying with our own creation. So this is where all suffering and all limitation comes from, is identification with the body-mind complex, as if that is us. And as soon as you think you're the body-mind complex, your frequency goes all the way down, right? You just completely plummet, because now you're identified with all your trauma-based mind control and your limiting beliefs, and all beliefs are limiting. Any belief you've got in your mind is a limitation program.
Wow.
Beliefs have nothing to do with what is. So the way we raise our vibration is we understand that we're the creator awareness, where only the truth heals. Only the truth heals. Just like we did with the self-inquiry process of who am I, where we see through the illusion of the human character, we understand there is no separate I here because we're all one.
Right.
Once we understand that we're all one, there's no such thing as separation, and we are the awareness of everything that's going on here, the creator awareness, which has no name, no image, no form, our vibration instantly rises because we're no longer in a delusion of the fact that we are a human person.
Wow. And it's amazing because, you know, that debunks so many things. Like, that just debunks so many things that people believe now, is that you have to, you know, do all these things. And like you said, it's just being in that mindset, being in that vibration, embodying that. Now, you know, a lot of, I guess, techniques that people talk about, one of them is visualization. How do you feel about visualization? Do you think that's actually a helpful tool, or do you think it's just one of those other limiting things?
That's such a brilliant question, Jalen. Boy, you really did your homework on me, didn't you? So visualization is a great tool if you don't know you're the creator. Once you understand you're the creator and you're the source of everything and that everything exists within you, what the hell would you need to visualize, right? Visualization creates a subject-object paradigm as if there's something outside of you or in your future, or one day you're going to get this thing that's someday in the future, and you got to do all this work and you got to go through all these steps to get to this thing that's outside of you and in the future, right? So
Right.
when you don't know you're the creator, you got to do stuff like that. When you do understand you're the creator, you realize everything is coming from within you. The desire you experience is one side of the coin, and the fulfillment of the desire is the other side of the coin. Both are coming from God, and both are within you right now, not in the future, not outside of you, within you now. And the way that you materialize these desires, the way you take them from desire to fulfillment of the desire, both of which are coming from within you, so there's nothing to visualize, you raise your frequency and vibration and awareness of who you are. The more you understand who you really are, not as an identity, but as the creator, no name, no image, no form, the formless awareness, the more you understand that, the more these things that are invisible to you right now, but are all here now, will appear to you. So there's nothing to visualize, there's nothing to achieve, there's nothing to acquire, there's no one to become. It's all within you right now, and it's your understanding and awareness of who you are as the creator that makes these things manifest or come. You engage in the act of alchemy, which is you bring the magic or the heaven on earth from within, the kingdom of heaven from within. You bring it out of you by understanding your awareness of who you are. The more you understand who you are as the creator, the more these things will manifest in the outside world, in the so-called outside world, even though it's not really an outside world. It's just a mirror reflection of how well you know yourself. This is the most important thing that I can tell everybody. We do not manifest based on what we want. We manifest based on who we are, how well we know ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a huge insight. That's an earth-shattering insight, and it destroys the idea of needing to visualize anything.
It's powerful, you know. So I attracted my dream woman last year, and it's been the most amazing relationship. So here's the wild thing. I hear a lot of people talk about everything is infinite. So, you know, everything that you ever want or desire already exists, and you just have to align with it. Do you feel that that's a real thing? You're just aligning with timelines. You're just, you know, aligning with all the infinite possibilities that there are in the world or are in this lifetime?
Yeah. So let's use that's such a great question, Jay, and thank you for asking it. Let's use the example of you manifesting your dream woman. Okay. Rumi, who is a brilliant Sufi poet and a very enlightened being, he said that lovers don't find each other, they're within each other all along. So the truth is, your dream lover was within you all along, and you just brought her out by bringing yourself to a higher awareness or frequency of who it is that you are, right? Embodying a true. You were not embodying the false version of you, the weak, brainwashed, conditioned, a fragmented, traumatized version of you that attracted the narcissist, right? You gain some evolution from that, you gain some expansion from that, you gain some awareness of who you really are, and then you attracted someone who was at that level, okay, who could meet you at a much more authentic expression of yourself. This expression of yourself that is now so freaking ready to receive this higher conscious wisdom, right? You would have to be at that level at some way, shape, or form. You would have to be at that level for any of this to land on you. Otherwise, it would bounce right off of you, and you'd go back to Aaron Dowdy's channel. I feel so bad for just speaking on Aaron. I'm sure he's the nicest. He's probably like the nicest guy in the world, but we're having so much fun with it.
I know. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh man.
I don't know why this is so funny, but it is funny. And nothing raises the vibration like laughter, man.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Nothing breaks through the freaking limitation program like taking, making light of things and not taking anything seriously, right? I don't take any of this seriously. Some people are like, how can you talk bad about another person? Blah, blah, blah. Don't you know it's just you? I know that Aaron Dowdy is a reflection of me. I understand that. I understand there's no separation between me and Aaron Dowdy. I understand that there's a version of me that's just like Aaron Dowdy. I get it, right? But none of this is serious. So pull the stick out of your ass and that'll help you raise your vibration, okay? You don't need to watch his channel. Just pull the stick out of your ass. This is such a great. This is the best interview I've done so far, bud. You're the man. You're the freaking man.
I appreciate you. I'm enjoying every second of this.
Yeah.
I only had like a couple more questions. There was one of the things I always have to use myself as an example. So when I was attracting this woman, or when I created her, everything was perfect. Everything was just amazing. It was just like, this woman is like everything. She's like, we're on the same level spiritually, emotionally. It's crazy. When we have an issue, I just talk to her about it and then change behavior. I'm like, oh my God, this is finally what I'm looking for. And then as soon as I find this person, or, she's in my life now, here comes people from my past. Here comes that narcissistic ex that I hadn't spoken to in 2-3 years. She pops up. Oh, I've seen you on TikTok. Oh, wow. Another woman, I do Lyft. And so sometimes I'll have passengers I know from the past, and like a woman I used to date hopped in the car. And it was like back to back to back within like the same week, sometimes in the same month. And I'm like, what is it? So my question is, does the universe test you? Because I feel like sometimes it'll, we have like a choice to continue forward and continue with our growth, or like, hey, here's the past. Here's like this thing that you used to like and used to be around. You have a chance to backslide or come back to this lower version of yourself. Does the universe actually do that, or is that just a coincidence?
So God, which is you, loves us so unconditionally that it always gives us it gives us any option that we desire to experience, including the option of regressing and going backwards. Okay, even though the one mandate of existence is to know thyself and all thy infinite potential, God, which is you, there's no separation, loves you so unconditionally that it actually affords you, every time you're ready to level up, it will ask you, are you sure? Are you sure? And it will leave that echo or door open behind you if you would like to regress, because there are some individuals here who blueprinted an ascension to the fifth dimension, fourth frequency, or what some people call the fourth density. They blueprinted that, but they still are very engrossed with their ego and still desire to have third dimensional experiences. That option is open because God loves you so unconditionally that you're able to go forward, backward, left, right, up, down, any way you want. So when you level up, that doorway is always open to go backwards. And some people have not completely, they're not just done with their third dimensional experiences. And let's be honest, dude, the narcissistic relationship's pretty fucking exciting for the first month or whatever, when you're getting love bombed and shit. I mean, that's like the greatest thing ever, right?
Like an adrenaline rush.
I haven't felt I've taken every drug on the planet. I was a nightclub promoter, so I experimented with everything. I've been addicted to a whole bunch of stuff. I've never found the drug better than that. A gorgeous narcissistic woman love bombing you and buying you gifts and telling you you're the greatest, most masculine man ever. I mean, that's the best drug I've ever experienced. So you understand what I'm saying? That's why the universe leaves that door open, because it's like, are you sure you're done? Because there's a great sugar rush over here. It's not going to last long. You're going to have a huge fall off of that pedestal, but that experience
feel good for a good 3 weeks, 1 month.
But you understand that this is all out of love. It's not like the universe is trying to say, like, people come up with self-sabotage and blah, blah, blah. All these racket stories they come up with, they pull out of their ass. It's just the fact that God loves you so unconditionally that you're allowed to go backwards if you want. You're allowed to go in any direction you want. That's how unconditionally loved, that's how unconditionally supported you are by God, which is yourself.
That is just so powerful to me. I think it's going to really help people. I think it's going to really open some minds for the ones that are willing to listen and willing to open their mind to it. And, I don't have any other questions. That was pretty much all the questions I have. But anything that you would like to say to any of the viewers that has to do with, finding the person that they want or becoming the person that they want so they can have that. Do you have any words that you would like to say to them? And then if you want to let them know where they can find you.
Sure. Let me get where they can find me out of the way right now. Just go to PeteSapper.com, or the TikTok is Pete Sapper 144. That's it. There's no other plugs besides that. As far as finding the person, we have to get rid of that notion of finding. Okay, we've been brainwashed to find something because it's all outside of us, right? Okay, that's an illusion. There is nothing outside of you. There's nothing separate from you. There's nothing outside of you. There's nothing above you. There's nothing over there or that. It's all within you, right? So that person exists as a possibility within you right now, and the way you bring them out is you embody your true vibration of unconditional love. You have to love yourself so unconditionally, and then that will be reflected within the mirror universe. Okay, and this includes the idea of self-care. You've got to take care of the body. I'm teaching you to disidentify with the body, yes, but not to disavow the body. The body, it has a very, very pivotal function. It allows us to have a physical experience. So it needs to be loved, it needs to be cherished, it needs to be seen for the precious gift that it is, and it needs to be taken care of. Self-care is self-love in action. So make sure that you are taking care of yourself. Make sure that you are, especially if you're coming out of a narcissistic relationship or whatever. I mean, Jalen talks about how the thing just flatlines you. It just crushes you into pieces. And then we let go of ourselves and we self-abandon, which is the worst thing that can happen. So do what Jalen did. Get yourself back into great shape and look at as handsome as he is and as good looking as he is. And then embody your vibration of unconditional love. Love yourself so unconditionally that it gets reflected in the mirror universe. The last thing I want to say is, the next 6 years are extremely important. What I teach is about, you manifest your love of your life, manifest money. Yes, but that's not what this is about. This is about overcoming the slavery and tyranny that we've all been subjected to. We came here to break humanity out of this slave matrix, okay? And we have to do that by first breaking ourselves out of the slave matrix and then embodying that as an example, okay? Breaking out of the idea of being traumatized, fragmented, third-dimensional egos, and stepping into our creatorship as limitless creator beings. Any illusion of power that you see outside of yourself is an illusion that you are creating. Power in the hands of the police, power in the hands of the government, power in the hands of the military, power in the hands of Donald Trump. That's all an illusion that you are creating. So it's time to stop that creating that illusion and take back your power. And the way you do that is you embody your frequency, your true frequency of unconditional love, your creator God mode. You step into God mode. You transcend the character, the player of the character, and you step into the creator of the game, because you created everything. The trauma-based mind control, the Donald Trumps of the world, the narcissistic sociopaths, all the brainwashing. You chose your programming. You chose absolutely everything from your God conscious perspective, because it's what you desire to experience, because that's how freaking limitless you are.
Wow. That's a mic drop right there. I go drop this mic if I I have nothing else to say with that one. Wow. Yeah. Pete, thank you so much for being on Elevated Minds. It's been a treat. And man, you dropped some gems. You dropped some diamonds out here today. So for everyone that's watching, know that that's going to really help, and that's going to really help you to lift your spirits and really realize that we are all the creators of our reality. So we need to take that power and take that. That's going to really get you that control over your life, because you're the one that did it all anyway.
You're the creator, and creation is finished. Jalen, this was such an awesome interview. You're such a brilliant guy. Thank you so much for the honor of having me on. I appreciate you so much, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man. And all I have to say is, everyone stay elevated.
Awesome.
I appreciate you, man.